I'd like to welcome everybody back to the Independent Investor Channel live stream for Friday, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Give everybody just a chance to make their way in here. It's been an interesting week for me. It's like getting kicked in the groin over and over and over and over again this week. So as good as last week was, it was about as equally as bad for me. It's no problem. I can reach into the archives for a lot of new investors that are making their way to the investing opportunity right now and trying to make sense of it. I've been doing this a long, long time, and things are pretty crazy right now. I don't know if I'm losing touch because I've got those tried and true methods of market investing, and I'm always trying to stay as aggressive as I can with my application and trying different strategies, deploying different things in the market. And good on me. Some of it works, some of it doesn't. Some of the successes come from the lowliest of places, and other things that I feel like are my best assets really don't turn out that well. It's just amazing to me how the market can be such a fickle environment for wealth building. But I'd like to pose everybody with the simple question and rhetorical question: where else are you going to go? What else are you going to do in this life to try to establish some buckets of wealth that pay you back over time? It's difficult. When you start like I did from scratch and you start from zero and you don't come from any type of head start whatsoever, I've had a few interesting things that have helped accelerate that along just a little bit. But I've also had my fair share of downturns. I've had my fair share of hiccups in the market, and we are long, and I'm talking long overdue for that. It seems to me the pulse in the market now is very complacent. We get a hiccup of a couple percent, and everybody loses their mind. I don't know if we're just shaping up to be just the worst entry into 2022 that we've ever had in the market. We're here at all-time highs right now, and the market just keeps trugging along. It's really quite amazing. And for a student of the game, I'm intrigued. I really am. I don't know how people sit on the sideline and do not participate in financial markets. Warren Buffett makes a interesting comment that, if a stock runs up 900%, you shouldn't be happy. You should be scared. It should freak you out. And it's kind of the same application that I have with this market. I don't know where it comes from. I don't know. I'm not, I'm not a financial steward insofar as understanding, the current environment now and what that could mean for financial markets on the horizon. It just feels like something is awry. That's what it feels like to me. And what does it mean for independent investors out there? Not a whole lot. Typical long-term approach to the market. If you can find your place in the market, and if it is confusing to you and you're wondering what cryptocurrency to buy because you don't want to buy the S&P 500, there is an order of operations to entering into the financial markets, and there's just a few products and few methods that really do work on the onset for any investor out there starting that Roth IRA of a self-directed nature. That's the key niche on the channel, and it just would tickle me if we could talk about it a little more as if it was commonplace. I would love other channels to kind of be recommending this to new investors. I'm just not sure if there's a whole lot of investors out there that are interested in the long-term passive program. And I think it's absolutely the best way if you want to approach investing and seek out those more aggressive avenues to the market. You can absolutely do that, but do it in due time. Give yourself a chance to establish that bucket that's going to be there, and it's going to be your old Ironside throughout thick and thin, ups and downs in the market. It'll always be there for you to fund. And I know there's a lot of community members out there that have taken me up on this tried and true advice. Really, everything else is uncivilized. It is. Try to stock pick your way to financial wealth. It's interesting enough, and you're going to make money with dividends. a dividend is just about as close to a guarantee in the stock market as I can ever get. Right now, down 17% in my AT&T position. That was supposed to just be the end all be all of a nice high paying 6 to 7% dividend payer because they were making money hand over fist. But it's amazing to me how you put these collective strategies all in the same portfolio, and it's as if 2021, if I was going to chalk it up to you guys and give you an analogy of what's going on, how I'm feeling in 2021, it's all about kind of just running in quicksand this year. I think slowly we're getting ahead. Last week was just a phenomenal week. We came off a little bit, not quite as bad as I thought, to get kicked in the junk this week with 𝗖𝐿lsn. Turned out another fabulous quarter, I thought. And the stock market, of course, sold off at 15%. I did not get to listen to the 𝗖𝐿sn call this morning. I did read the earnings report, and it's amazing to me. I think if 𝗖𝐿sn were just to take the unethical road and just start writing things that sound good instead of telling the truth all the time, I think the stock would probably shoot to $20, because I don't know if 𝗖𝐿sn and 𝗋𝐿a and these other companies live in some sort of fairy tale world, but there are big gaps, and no analyst wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to talk about the gaps that exist in these situations. I'm pulling for them. I really am. I don't wish them not to succeed. I just wish that they could tell the truth. Delivering 80 units, where are these units? Where are the validation? What are they? 𝗖𝐿sn seems to think that they need to validate for the next 68 years before they actually sell this product, and it has to be absolutely perfect. By the time we get to that point, we're going to have flying semi trucks, and it's not going to matter anyway. We're not going to need driver buy-in because they're going to be autonomous flying trucks. Okay? It's not going to matter at that point. So I was a little bit frustrated, I think, the night that the earnings were turned out, before I had my opportunity to do my due diligence. Then I pushed out the content, gave my unique perspective on the company, and I just didn't see it. I just didn't see it. I did not see how something as good as an order book of 40 new orders, that puts them up to about 1,590 orders. If my math is correct, I mean, we're looking at 250 orders for A&G. Nobody talks about that anymore. A&G owns the subscription book for 𝗖𝐿sn to be able to use fuel credits for clients to take a discount, even further discount, on the natural gas purchases, specifically the renewable natural gas purchases that they could inevitably make as a customer of 𝗖𝐿sn. Never gets talked about. And it's interesting to me. I think Thomas Healy is probably doing the very best that he can, and I think he'll learn. I'm trying to take the high road, because a lot of what Thomas says, and a lot of what he doesn't say is what I'm kind of critical on, and a lot of people are critical the same on this very element of, it's not charisma. I don't really care about any of that. I think his focus is on building a phenomenal company that's going to be good for the planet, and get his solutions out there on the road. I get that. I just wish that he would earmark. I don't think I've ever heard Thomas Healy talk about driving shareholder value. I don't think I've ever heard him say that. And I think that's unfortunate. I interview a lot of CEOs on the Independent Investor Channel, and every single one of them talk that way. He's drawing a $359,000 salary. The interview that I did with 𝗖𝐿sn this week, for you guys that clicked over there and clicked that thumbs up at least for me, thank you. I really appreciate that. What a phenomenal guy. Does not draw a salary. He only has stock compensation. Do you think 𝗖𝐿sn is going to be selling shares in his secure product? No, he believes in it. And they're also making revenue, I might add. They're trading at 40 cents a share. Stock popped 16% today. Again, sorry about that. This is becoming a theme on the Independent Investor Channel, where I put promotional content. I make a little bit of money for doing so. I don't make money doing any of my other methods, this being my most enjoyable. It would be great if I could get paid for it. I don't do it to get paid. However, I do promotional content to get paid. Okay. The irony in the whole thing is people come in and they talk that it's a pump and dump. That's the big thing. That's the escape from thinking, is that it's a pump and dump. I beg to differ. If you fail to go in and actually take a look at some of these companies, there's some really interesting stuff coming out right now on the emerging landscape. If you're not interested in that stuff, no problem. I'm interested in all of it. I'm interested in Tesla. I don't own the stock, but I'm a steward of the stock market, and I think if I can impart to you any of what it is that I do with my application, uh, finances are intriguing to me. And I think that's part of my success, is that I'm always looking to drive, drive, drive. As bad as it's been this year for me, um, I still keep chugging along. And I think it speaks to my devotion and dedication. And there's got to be investors out there that can benefit from a lot of years, a lot of ups and downs, a lot of tried and true methods, a lot of wins, um, not a whole lot of losses, but some, and you learn from them. You really do. I just so happen to be uh, in deep in the biggest trade of my life right now, with Hyliion. So when I look at it, I try to look at it through the lens of the CEO, and I'm not really trying to apply a whole lot of the criticism that I see online. There's some weird stuff. There's some weird stuff, and I'm not really sure if I understand why banks find it so interesting to jump on the bandwagon with downgrades. What is a $7 to a $5 downgrade? I haven't put that bagger video out, and I will. I will. But it's almost like there's too many people out there to fight anymore, and you almost have to just take your licks, let them just completely just rape a stock, for the lack of better terms. They're just rape the stock, and many others out there, and don't even allow them to get off the ground floor. And I think a downgrade from 7 to 5 is really interesting to me. I don't see the point in it. I'm not really sure why the high scrutiny on this particular company. Hell, if you think it's going to the pink sheets, why are you spending so much time interested in it? And I said, marked my word, man, when the Delaney downgrade came, Goldman Sachs has increased their position. They just put out another downgrade on it. So I don't know what's going on. All I do know is that the SEC is asleep at the wheel. So thank you for that. Supposed to be out there protecting people. They don't want to protect anybody. They want to allow this circus to continue. And why do I mention that as an insight to the channel? And if you're new to my delivery, I was with financial institutions for a long time, about 2 decades, about 20 years. I was with multiple financial planners, and it wasn't until the latter part of my evolution and learning and asking the right questions. I think that's where a lot of people go wrong. They don't know how to properly scrutinize certain things. They just accept the status quo. And as long as they're not being hurt by the status quo, it's okay. And so they don't ask those hard and true questions. But when I broke away, my insight told me that the system in and of itself was aimed at keeping the small person down. The system is exists for the system's benefit. Okay. And you are a small, insignificant pawn in that game. Okay. In that Edward Jones can be on every street corner out there. Okay. And to pay that high overhead and rent, $5,000 a month, $2,500, $7,500 in some locations, I don't even know. It's irrelevant. They have no problem. It's the best business to ever be in, because it's the only business that I know of that they don't need to have customers coming in and buying product off the shelf. They basically just take your money and make money off of your money. That's it in a nutshell. Highway robbery. And what I'm coming to find out is that I've had a few people reach out to me through the Yahoo thread, and I seemingly am a target. I guess I'm a retail whale on position, which is big for me. But why am I a target? Why do I need to be shaken off of my shares? Why is that? And it seems like before we even get this thing moving, unfortunately, a lot of retail investors will be shook off of the opportunity, which Honestly, guys, I don't wish this upon anybody because it will be, like Robert Frost said, it will be a path diverged in a wood, and I will take the one less traveled by, and that will make all the difference. Okay. It's one of my favorites. And there is nothing that is proven so true here in the stock market investing. And for you guys that are new to this gig, I've got multiple strategies, multiple applications. Okay. I dive into each one of them every now and then because instead of being a one channel or a one trick pony on the channel, I'd like to be dynamic. And I believe that I am. I believe I am. Multiple buckets, accounts, multiple strategies deployed. Some may resonate with some and others it may not. Um, but pick the strategy that is going to be good for you guys and make it a point to come in and try to resonate with the idea that finances needs to be a lot more, and you need to be a lot more involved with your spending list discipline and a perception or a perspective in life that allows you to contribute to your personal financial program in a way that you can resonate with. Don't do it because somebody else does it. Don't do it because you're unhappy with what's sitting in your driveway and you're always looking across at the neighbor. I always find that funny. Got to make sure that you're doing it for the right reasons and being independent. And once you take that on and you understand the difference between an independent investor program and a program like Edward Jones, the disconnect and the differences can be absolutely black and white, and it can make all the sense in the world to you guys. All right. So I'd like to welcome everybody. Hope everybody had a wonderful Veterans Day. Great to see everybody in the gallery here. We've got a ton of people now that's made their way into the live stream. I'm never late. I'm always fired up to talk about my favorite topic. Some people are good musicians, other people are good actors. I just so happen to run the Independent Investor channel, and there's only one of them. So welcome, guys. Appreciate seeing each and every one of you guys. CRP's in the house, man. So I'm gonna drop an invite here. I dropped onto a little live stream RP was doing, I think this week anyway. I occasionally do that, man. I don't watch a lot of YouTube. I really don't. You got to understand this YouTube thing for me is interesting, man. I wouldn't say that I'm just fired up all the time to come and create YouTube content. I'm really not. So hold on just a sec, Ronnie. I'm a RP here. This is for you, my friend. I told you I'd send you an invite, man. If you want to kick on here, man, I'll bring you on for the whole last part of the live stream, and we can talk highly on between me and you. That's totally cool, man. But I do want to get into the portfolio reviews. Like I said, we got kicked in the growing this week. It's no big deal. It happens. I've got iron nuts. It's no big deal. But we'll kick in here. We were really down this week. We were down. Oh, I mean, one day I gave back a $15,000 bill. That was lovely. That was lovely, but no real changes. Amazon's come back nicely. Google's back in the black nicely. I've established a couple of the biggest positions I've ever had in my life in these two companies. So I'm real stoked, real disappointed in Lockheed Martin. Boeing showing its feet. I wish I could torch AT&T. That would be awesome if I could just like seriously get a blowtorch and just light it on fire. That'd be awesome. I just light it on fire, all 326 shares of it or something. I don't know. What a dog it's been. And then as I have started the transition to the more passive VTI here in the portfolio, the idea here is to leverage some of those highly on profits when they do materialize. We're probably looking at a couple years out anyway. I really hope I'm wrong. I'm betting on a catalyst at this point. I really am, and I think they're going to surprise to the upside. I do. Next earnings, February 22. Again, I read it. Evidently, I'm just a shithead stock market investor because I read the report and I was happy. Everybody else was upset. Stock sold off. I don't know what type of institutions were selling. But supply chain issues that are being talked about by a $1.5 billion company is not a reason to earmark that specific company as the only one that is going through supply chain issues. And, Hyzon strategically put it in their report, but basically just said, yeah, in light of this, we're going to deliver 80 trucks this year. And I don't understand that. I really don't. Saying one thing that looks good and then under delivering on the backside, that seems to be the way to do it because Hyzon popped today at one point up 20%. It came off pretty heavy, but was still up sizably. And I don't understand it. I don't want to be misconstrued here in my message. And if you think I'm wrong, please tell me. Say, Ryan, you're really misguided here, man. You're looking at the wrong stuff here. But I'm looking at stuff, making my decisions based on what I'm seeing here. But we dip back below again. Nice swift kick to the gonads here on this one for sure. That was lovely. All right. And this one down again. You can see I couldn't believe it. I was going down doing the reviews and I was like, God dang, I was down in everything this week. Just horrible. Disney missed. Of course. Bristol Myers got into them at what, 9 times forward and still they're off a few bits, 7%. Microsoft can do no wrong. Um, honestly, my passive ETFs are just absolutely killing it, keeping me afloat. VOO, VBK, small cap growth, VNQ, real estate doing fine. SoFi, we're back in the black there. I took that into some really deep water, and she's back up above 23-ish. At least it was for a certain point. Been up nicely tail into this week. Pfizer's been on fire. With TAC Global sharing their product with everybody around the world, and stock can't get out of its own way. It's down every day. I was up just a touch today anyway. But we'll see. Visa has been one of my favorites. It's off 10%. So like I said, got a lot of manure piles sticking around, but I'm kind of hopeful that someday there's a demand for manure out there, and that that I can actually sell this manure at some point. I'm sure there's somebody down the line that may in fact want some Visa shares down the line. I'm not really sure. We'll see. hmm You've heard of these companies anyway. Yeah. So we were down in that. Here's Roth 2. Not a whole lot of changes. I am satisfied with oil. Big oil's coming back huge. So I'm pretty happy with that. ExxonMobil's doing great. Alibaba has found its footing. That was nice. They had a huge day, huge day before Veterans Day. 78 billion in sales, just phenomenal. Great long play. Alibaba, great company. Fabulous there. Now, IBM and KD, I put those in the same category as AT&T. I just don't know if they are just dead grapes. I just don't know. I see you there, RP. Fantastic, man. It's great to see you. I'll get you on here in just a second. Give me about 5 more minutes or so. Just kick back in the VIP space. I'd pour you a scotch if I had one. But this is what we've got here. The portfolio is taking shape from a framework perspective. What I mean by that is this VIG. This is the first time I've owned this within the Roth, and this is a long to medium term kind of strategy for me to transition these Roth IRAs to a little bit more of a passive with a little bit of base in here, looking to accelerate the growth with the highly on holding here. In here, these are large positions in these in each of these accounts, so pretty big shareholding. This has been a tough one for me. I may have to look at selling some of them for a little bit of tax loss harvesting. It's going to break my heart. It really is. I'd like to sell as much as I can or as little as I need to offset about $12,500 in capital gains this year, just farting around, just doing a little swing trading here in the brokerage account. But man, that's going to break my heart, man. All of that'll go to tax loss this year, like I said. Everything's just turned to manure, and 𝗖𝐿𝐿 is kind of like a glowing neon green pile of manure right now. But we don't invest for the now, we invest for the future, man. That's where we are. All right. Here's the we can't get this sucker to 20 grand. This is the specialty portfolio. 20 grand, man. This is where one channel of my side hustle money goes to. So the inherent message for you guys is for you guys that are looking to start a side hustle. I don't care if it's eBay, I don't care if it's YouTube, I don't care if it's Craigslist, I don't care what it is, man. You're gonna make some side hustle money, man. This is where one of my side hustle monies. Now, my side hustles turned into something that I could have never expected it turn into. Like, shit, I love this channel, man. I love it. This is part of me. This is what I do, man. I am an independent investor, man. This is what I do. But it just speaks to I don't live on this money, guys. And geez, man, I thank God every day for my job. Every day. I'm like, there's no way I'd go batshit crazy having to survive and take care of the family on YouTube, man. It'd make me go nuts. And that's the only thing that keeps me sane, is knowing that it is a side hustle for me. But this is an example of how I deploy some side hustle money in here. All right. And here's the dividend growth portfolio. This is doing really well. We need to get this up to 100 grand. This is rendering about 2.6 on the portfolio, about 79 holdings across all 10 sectors. This is a badass portfolio. This is a killer way to invest. I think we're up to about 600 on this already in rendered dividends. So we're doing really, really well there. And the TSP, I just don't think had a time to click over, but over 60 grand here, 42% on the personal investment performance over the last year. This is passive investing 101. This is just whipping some ass. So you guys that are new to investing, man, I tell you what, don't think for a second that you need to come in here and find out some secret sauce from the independent investor channel that's going to help you obtain riches that the masses can't enjoy, man. This is what it's about. This is what it's about. And this is just an example of 401k. 401k Roths increased their contribution caps for 2022. Unfortunately, they did not do the same for Roth IRAs. Why didn't they do that? Because it's a powerful tool. That's why, right? They want to keep the thumb on the top of the head of the working man. That's for sure. But just started the Robinhood account. I'm feeling it out. The aesthetics of it are a little cartoonish. It's actually like investing in a cartoon. It's like I'm in Smurf land, and I'm investing my money. That's why I'm staying close to the vest. I'm going to make it an aggressive portfolio. I've got VUG in it right now. It's doing fine. It'll do fine. VIG's returned 13% over the last, umpteen years. I'm good with that until I start to backfill. I'd like to put some NVIDIA. I'd like to put some Adobe systems in here. So Robinhood's going to fit the bill for that. And like I said, it's nice anytime I want to step into Smurfland and talk to Gargamel and the Smurfs. I do that when I hop into my Robinhood account. Now Weeble's different. Weeble's badass. Weeble whips some ass. This is the aesthetics of this platform I really do like. I've got the mid cap holding in here, so this would be a mid cap deal. And then here, Charles Schwab, I started actually 51.58 in that account. I've invested in a company in this one. Don't want to disclose it yet. Tell you what, man, I'm going to put a little saucer out there. I'm going to disclose it to my Viper group if they're interested in it. But I'll give you a little hint. It was part of the content that I dropped this week. And super, super excited about this company, man. It's pretty badass. CEO's awesome. He's on point, and he is looking to drive shareholder value. All right. Here's the crypto. Here's the lottery ticket. I caught some heat for this. Like, Ryan, you're a turncoat, son of a bitch, bastard, investing in cryptocurrency. I'm like, Jesus, man, you're gonna evolve as an investor, man. It's okay. And I think some people may pick up on that and be like, you know what, Ryan, okay, he's an asshole. Let's just get over that. But it's okay for me to evolve as an investor because I evolve as an investor. And I'm telling you, it's okay. And I said 3 or 4 different times during the video, it's not for everybody. Okay. I invested in Bitcoin, didn't know the first freaking thing of what I was doing. It went from 30 to 55. I sold. I was up 80% in like 40 days. Like, what the hell is that? So I've got that original 2,500 pulled back to cash, and I decided to go into the Shibu Inu, Awimu, Atimu. and give my luck a try here. That's a lottery ticket. We'll see what happens. Not a whole lot has to happen with 28 million shares, but we'll see. Having a little fun with it, guys. And after all is said, off about 10 grand from last week, off 10 grand. And a lot of that had to do with the Hyliion holding. There's no doubt about it. So guys, there's a pretty good comment group in here, but I'm going to bring RP Music on because I have been watching RP for a long time, and I want to share his message with you guys. I got a lot of respect. I got a lot of respect for a few YouTubers. This is one of them, okay? Because the genuine nature of the approach, very good, a very good channel. So you guys can kick over, help him support the message. Anyway, let me get this $5.31 banner off of the deal here and bring RP on the deal. What's going on, my brother?
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. So talk to me. What do you think about this? I want you to give a little intro, if you would, for people who are not up to speed on your channel, what you like to talk about on your channel, and kind of what your niche is and what your basic message is for genuine, first time investors, things like that.
Okay. So my name is Henry. I go by DJ Henry. I have a channel on YouTube. It's RP Music TV. My channel is mostly instrumentals, and I do like little skits and whatnot.
Yeah.
I've had my channel for over 10 years, and I just upload every now and then. But recently, I started uploading videos on Hyliion, and I saw a lot of people weren't really covering Hyliion stock, and people that weren't really giving it a fair shake. So I went ahead and I started covering it. I'm not really a big YouTuber, so I got out there, just started making my own little videos and whatnot, and people seem to respond well to them. I had a couple people messaging me. I had a couple trolls telling me, whatever, I'm doing the wrong thing, whatnot. And I'm like, why are you so hard trying to convince me to sell my shares in this company if it's so lame to you? Why are you bothering with that? But
about Hyliion, yeah.
Oh yeah. I've had my fair shake with it, but now I'm trying to take it a little more serious now, and I'm trying to, right now I'm in my basement. I'm trying to get a studio set up down here and start making better content for YouTube and the Hyliion Discord channel and everybody that follows Hyliion.
Yeah, so I don't know if you know this, man. And you, Henry, you were making a lot of Hyliion content for a long time without your face. It was just you talking. That's what I remember from the old school. I remember your old RP music videos, and you were one of about three, you and Ronnie and Paul. You guys are the ones that I really liked on the Hyliion content. But yeah, man, as far as other people go, F it. You gotta just get some tough skin on this, man, because I think you do a really good job of covering Hyliion. I like it a lot, and I think you've got a lot of potential. YouTube is a cool opportunity as long as you enjoy doing it.
Yeah,
I feel like a lot of people maybe just do it because they're trying to make a lot of money at it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can make a little bit of money, I mean, think about a YouTube opportunity where you make an extra $200 or $300 or $400, man. Like, I always looked at it and I was like, are you kidding me? An extra $500 to do a YouTube channel? That's incredible. And I never thought it was possible. And I'm here to tell you, it's certainly possible. It helps, if you have another job to supplement that a little bit, but also to come on,
The funny thing is, when I started the channel 10 years ago, well, I say the funny thing is, but it was actually a crazy story that happened. I used to live in West Springfield, Massachusetts, and we got hit by a tornado in Massachusetts. And it was a couple years back, and that tornado ended up devastating my neighborhood. And I got some footage from it, and I ended up uploading it to YouTube on my channel, and it went viral. A couple news organizations picked it up, and YouTube immediately contacted me, and they said, "Oh, we want to put you as part of our partnership program." And I didn't know what the heck that was or anything, so I was like, "Oh yeah, sure." Accepted the terms and everything, and they put me through. And then I just didn't pay attention to my channel, and I got a notification that they kicked me off, and they took my video down because the news organization ended up taking the copyright for it, even though it was my video. Like, oh, okay, that's me in the video, but that's fine, whatever. So after a while, I have a couple YouTube channels, actually. I have another channel called Henry Hustler, And you were
Yeah.
talking about, you have to have a side hustle, and one of my side hustles is I do sell on eBay. So I do
Nice.
uh, I do masonry, and that's my main source of income. I work
Yeah.
with my father-in-law, and I invest in Hyliion very heavily. It's like 90% of my portfolio. So
Yeah.
that's one of the things. And then eBay, Amazon, that's my side hustle, and I enjoy doing that a lot. It brings a lot of good income. It brings about an extra $4,000, $5,000 a month just selling on
Oh
eBay. So
man.
it's good money. So I agree with your message when you tell people they have to have a side hustle. Just pick something up and start making some money on the side. It really adds up. That's why I'm able to put so much money into Hyliion. All of my some of these items, I'll buy them for a couple bucks. I'll flip them for 10,
Yeah.
15 times profit, dump the money into Hyliion, keep it going. I gotta plug my phone in before it dies. Hold on one second.
Yeah, do your thing, man. Do your thing. That's awesome.
Uh, there we go.
It's all those 1099s. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, that's the fun
Don't
part.
remind me.
1099 at
Oh.
the end of the year. It's kind of ridiculous though with eBay. When you sell and you're an online, you're a
Yeah.
reseller. Even returns, you get taxed on even returns. So a lot of people don't know that. So if somebody buys an item for $1,000 and they return, I still get taxed on that.
Oh my gosh.
So you got to have good customer service so you're not getting returns.
That's crazy. Well, Henry, while I got you on the channel, man, I want to hear what your thoughts were. I didn't get to talk to you. I was trying to comment on your live stream because I appreciated you doing that too. I had just got done dropping my video, in response to it. I, I thought I thought the street really got it wrong. I thought the reaction was wrong. Tell me I'm an asshole. Tell me I'm biased, man. Tell me I'm clouded, jaded. I really try to take an objective look at this, and I try not to be. I try to be as impartial as I can. I can give you my bearish case too,
Yeah.
because I force myself to draw up what is kind of frustrating me a little bit about Thomas and Sherry. I think they're just really honest. And I think they're trying to do it above board, which is in line with their strategic goal as a company. Like, I don't think they're lying. I think they're telling the truth. I do. It's just, how much more validation do we need? I kind of feel like I'm being forced to evolve my opinion away from my thesis that I had 18 months ago when I read the very first investor presentation. It's like, man, look at these potential customers, man. You got Amazon, you got DHL, you got all these customers. And I think eventually those customers will be won. I do. But I think my perspective at the time was that we were a little bit further along past the validation stage. And it seems like Hyliion and Nikola, or Hyzon and Nikola, excuse me, are kind of being given a pass in that they're not doing any product validation. Am I wrong in that?
No, actually, I was speaking about that on my live stream. I believe it was yesterday, actually, where I mentioned, Thomas Healy is being honest, and somebody called it out and said, "Well, here we go. This is just an echo chamber of highly on bulls, just validating what they believe." And I said, "No, I'm welcoming anybody, bears and bulls, to go ahead and speak and see what
Yeah.
basically let's meet in the middle ground here of what the issue is, because I saw the same thing. I saw a lot of people on the Discord channel, a lot of people on the Hyliion Reddit pages. We have a Twitter support group for
Yeah.
Hyliion investors, and a lot of people were doing 180s. They were getting really upset and distraught. And I said, the report wasn't all that bad. Of course, we weren't expecting to have another year delay, but that's across the board in all major industries. I just had a conversation with my brother-in-law. He's a sales manager for Milwaukee Tools, and he messaged me and told me, we're going through it too. We have supply chain shortages, and a lot of the inventory that we have that's going to Home Depot now is basically the last of the inventory. They're not going to have inventory. They have a backlog right now for over a year. So, I mean, I'm hearing it left and right from a lot of different companies. And it's not, just Hyliion. So when they come out and they say, we're also having a problem with the supply chain shortage, kind of have to give them the benefit of the doubt. I know it sucks, being a long-term holder. We've already held this company for over a year, and
Yeah.
it seems that they can't catch a break. Ever since Shell became Hyliion, it's been just bad news after bad news. They've had good news. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
every time tried to come up and the stock has started to climb, there's a short report that comes out, or somebody starts to cover it with negative light, and it just outshines anything they do. Or if Hyliion does come out with good news, then they just go silent for too long, and they let that news fade, and they let these other companies come up and do nothing. Look at Hyliion. I mean, not Hyliion. Look at 𝑛𝓋𝐴.
𝗖𝐋𝐈𖖿, yeah.
They lost less revenue than expected. They shoot up 25%. We we get a 40 truck reservation and we drop 15%. And I was calling it out. I said if we don't have any revenue recognized, we're going to drop 10 to 15%. So
Yeah.
I was already mentally prepared for that.
Me too.
I told everybody, you know, I'm already numb to seeing the price drop. It doesn't affect me at this point, you know. So all I can do right now is either add to my position or just, you know, try to talk about the good things that they're doing and not really pay attention to it. Because if you really are a long-term investor and you're constantly paying attention to your stock, you're going to make irrational decisions. And if you make those irrational decisions, like, you're going to lock in huge losses. And you only can write off $4,000 a year with the IRS anyway. So, I mean,
Nice. Thank you for that. I was asking my private group about that tax loss harvesting, and I don't know if it's in my best interest to go ahead and take the $4,000 loss on a small block. I own a fairly sizable position, at least what I think is sizable. I got shit thrown at me for thinking that 100 grand was a lot of money, and I was like, it is. I'm sorry. Like, I don't know who you think you are, but yeah, it's a lot of money, man. And I work hard for my money, as you do, right? So we want to make sure, and this was one of the criticisms. I don't think I've ever heard Thomas Healy talk about driving shareholder value. I tweeted him tonight, and I was like, Thomas, everybody believes in the initiative, the what you're doing. We all believe, and I actually believe that, you know, even the share sales and all that stuff. However I twist it, it comes across as bad. Okay. You know, there was a tweet in the Yahoo feed that said, look, man, there's more money being brought into Thomas Healy himself with the stock sales than the actual entire revenue, you know, the marketing team has been able to generate. And, you know, I give a pass on all that stuff. I just think, man, I interview CEOs all the time, and I do come back to this all the time. The demeanor is almost like selfless
yeah,
in that when you're a public company, and I'm not sure, so sure, and I want to give Thomas the benefit of the doubt. Thomas is brilliant. I'd rather have an engineer who understands the ins and outs of the business. In other words, when Hyliion is 20 years old, 30 years old, 40 years old, and Thomas Healy eventually steps down, I think it will be a monumental occasion, because I think Thomas understands the mechanics of the business. I really do. I'm just not sure if it's taken this much time to understand that as a publicly traded company, you're number one charge, not number 7, not number 612 on the list. Your number one priority is to drive shareholder value.
yep.
And that might not resonate with all CEOs. I'm not sure, but that's kind of the pulse that I get a little bit, is I want to see him improve on, you know, like the Wegmans deal. There was somebody who hit him up and said, hey, can I come to the event? And he said, no, you can't. It's private.
Really. You see, that's not, to me, I don't like stuff like that because Thomas Healy, like you said, you know, he's brilliant and everything. And the company it's a great company, but I don't think he's come to the terms yet that this is now a publicly traded company, and he does have to bring in share value. He's still running the company like, you know, it's a private business with his buddies and everything. And I'm not too fond of that. So, you know, I am a bull when it comes to Hyliion, but I'll call it out if I have to call it out, and that's something I don't like. I really wish Thomas Healy would give us more. I'm not asking to pump up the share price.
I know.
I am asking for a little more clarity into what's going on. You know, we want to know and be up to date with what's going on behind the scenes. You know, you went to Wegmans and you posted a picture. You know, how hard is it to pull out your cell phone and record some video footage? Just, you know, give us a little more insight, especially to put a lot of people at ease. I'm a bull when it comes to Hyliion, but when I go and I have to write something, I feel like at these point, when it comes to earnings now, I'm going to have to just step back because now I'm going into the lions den at this point. People want to chew my head off. They're like, well, why do you still believe in the company? And I'm telling them, I was like, why don't I believe in the company? They have reservations coming in.
Yeah.
They have the truck. The truck runs. The truck works. They have a hybrid system that
Yeah.
works.
Solution's fine.
Yeah, the solution's there. It's the issue is delivering. Basically delivering the
Yeah.
message. And I feel like maybe Thomas believes that repeating the message again and again is tiresome or something, but that's
Yeah.
literally what marketing is. Marketing is repeating the same message again and again and again until you drive it home that this is the product that you need. And until he gets there, I don't know. I think it's going to be a bumpy road. I'm hoping that he keeps his promise and he actually comes out with some content, like he said he was when he had his camera crew. Remember that day? He had his camera showing, oh, we're going to have content coming out soon.
That's right.
Well, this is the problem. The stock market isn't what it was 10 years ago. All right. You don't have people coming in that are like going to be long-term investors in a stock. People are jumping in and they're day trading and they're flipping stocks, they're jumping in and out of them.
Yep.
And people don't have patience. So if you're not updating them constantly on what's going on, the company gets forgotten. We're trading at what? Not even 2.5 times cash value.
Cash.
And then you have Nikola over here still at a $6 billion market cap.
Yeah.
You have Rivian that comes out and it's $180 billion. Like that just blows my mind. I'm like, they haven't even sold a truck yet. Like, how is this happening? So, I feel like, if they can bring attention and kind of beat the shorts to their report, like have something ready for them because that report's coming out. You mentioned Mark Delaney. Did Mark Delaney drop another short report? Is that what happened?
Goldman Sachs, they didn't name the analyst. It could have very well been Mark because Mark, of course, is all over every one of those Q&As. He's been on every single conference call or earnings call for the history of the company. And of course, he got his spot again. He can't talk. He mumbles. I was like, I wanted to throw a book at the computer when I was listening to him. I punched the guy in the face, to be honest with you. Guy's a worm.
Caught the conference call. I was at work and I was like,
worm.
it's this conference call. And all of a sudden, I caught it late, but when I put my headphones in and I'm listening to it, it was literally Mark Delaney just starting to take his question. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Not this guy. And his question.
I get crap for that. They're like, oh, you're just bullish on the company. Yeah, I'm bullish on the company, but these little bitches, right? Goldman Sachs has increased their position. Let's talk reality.
Yeah.
As of November, they're at 647,000 shares. They've increased it from just over 500,000 shares a month earlier. So you tell me what gives.
Yeah.
You tell me what gives. You're telling me that there's not a phone call being placed to these subpar analysts, man, that are just, and Mark seems like a frail guy. Like he doesn't seem like a guy that I would put money on in a fight, for crying out loud. He seems like a bitch, right? Yep. And the question is mumbling all over the place, man. So it doesn't matter. And my thing is like, you're going to go from 7 to 5. Really? Wow. Yeah. I mean, really, that's like taking a $70 stock and going to 50. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
Like, well, are you kidding me?
They know it's not going to go to 5. What they want to do is they want to drive it as low as they can. So they'll come up with a ridiculous number. So originally when he came out with his $7 price target, it dipped down, but then, it climbed right back up and it was over 8. But, they want to cause that initial panic. Everybody start dumping the shares, sentiment starts to change, stock starts to light up with bearish posts. And they really think that that's going to drive the majority of the retail investors out, and then their buddies.
Should I have sold mine, Henry? I bought more, man.
I bought more.
Did I mess up?
No, I mean,
I'm sorry.
I don't give financial advice. I do what what I'm going to do. I say what I'm going to do. I bought more shares myself. I'm not going to be shaken out of my shares. I own 5,750 shares now. So
that's a big position, my friend. That's a life-changing position, is what that is.
I hope so. I feel like they should put us on a seat of the board at this point.
Give us a little specialized division there with the marketing team. I don't know.
Something. I mean, I feel like at this point, we do a lot more of the marketing for Hyliion than Hyliion.
That's a fact. Now that's not being pompous or anything, man. You know how much Hyliion content I put through, and I do it because I want to.
Yeah.
I make money for doing promotional content through the Independent Investor channel, and Hyliion's the only one I do on my own accord.
Yep.
And I'm looking to share the story
Yeah.
because I'm unsatisfied when if I could read some articles, impartial articles, every now and then a good one will come across the feed. But for the most part, man, they're really bad.
Yeah.
They're really, really bad because investing sometimes requires you to rely on the unknown. And with Hyliion, that's what it's going to take. Okay. It's not going to be this whole like 12-month plan to, get the supply chain thing, dealt with. There's going to be catalysts. And there's going to be catalysts that me and you cannot foresee. Look at Monet. Monet
Yep.
was a catalyst that I didn't know Monet was a player.
No,
I'm
and you know what's
sorry.
crazy is they had posts on their Instagram page back in November of 2020 showing those trucks, and I would have never have known. Like I said, I'm not
Yeah.
like a 14-year-old girl that has an Instagram page.
Yeah.
I guess I'm gonna have to start, adding everybody on Instagram, their
Yeah,
potential
man.
customers. But the information's out there. It's crazy. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What? I wasn't.
It is. But it's those things. If you look back over 2021 and you say, man, like I think you said it, but I don't think you meant it when you said, I think 2021 has been a phenomenal year for this company. I think it's been phenomenal. Battery management system, solidifying the board of directors, solidifying their upper management. The ACT Roadshow is a slam dunk.
Yep.
When he talks about the interest that was garnered, I'm a big fan of Sherry Baker. Now, you want to talk about a professional on a call? Listen to Sherry talk about the financials. Phenomenal. She's a phenomenal addition. The OEM solidification with Peterbilt, big. Okay. Got to have at least one. Okay. You're not going to mass scale up. What does an order mean with Monet? They can't fill that order in a year. They can't. It's going to be a collection of the orders that are on the books right now. Let's take the top four, right? They've got A&G, they've got Agility, Detmar, and Monet. Okay. That's 1,590 orders. What they're going to do in the year one of production is they're going to jam those through the OEM hubs and they're going to spit out a number. Whatever that number is going to be based against that reservation book. They're not going to be able to fill that. Okay. But they're going to continually chew into that order book. Okay. As they look to turn those products out to the fleet. And it's going to be a few trucks at a time, 5 or 10. I would say that the Agility 1,000 order is probably going to be an initial delivery of 25 to 50 trucks. That's a big freaking order, man, right there. That's a big order.
Yeah, that's going to be stock now. People are going to, once those orders and they start getting fulfilled and those trucks start rolling out of the line, then people are going to be wishing they would have gotten into the stock at this price. I mean, it's going to explode at that point. They're going to be able to take them as a serious player.
Yeah, my friend, I don't invest this much money. The stock will be fine. Trust me. We're going through times right now. Me and you are going to sit someday and look back on this, and we're going to say, "You got to be kidding me! This is this."
One day was like, aha!
Yeah,
I was doing the math. They were people were mentioning to me about the Cummins engine, the whole Cummins remark.
Sure.
I'm like, all right, that's fine. Cummins is coming out with an engine and everything, and it might disrupt their hybrid EX sales or whatnot. So I was defending that a little bit. I'm like, well, what Thomas Healy is basically saying is he doesn't want. He's being a smart CEO. He's saying, okay, they're going to come out with this product. We need to be able to reposition ourselves for the possibility of sales disruption. So we're not going to go ahead and pre-order, all these supplies and all these items we might not need. Instead, we just want to make sure that if that time comes, we're ready for that. That's a smart CEO. That's a guy that's not going to burn capital and start wasting the company's money to buy things that they're possibly not going to sell. Instead, they're going to be very smart about it. And I like that personally. If it comes down to they have to focus more on the Hypertruck ERX or just innovating the hybrid system itself, show the highlights of what the hybrid system can do that the Cummins engine can't do. What's the cost basis? What does it cost to produce? Is it going to be cheaper for them to have the hybrid system? And what is he doing now? He's not letting the supply straight stop them. He's going out on a roadshow right now. He's trying to get to those customers that he has a relationship already with and say, hey, he's trying to make them into Hypertruck ERX customers. He's trying to sell them more product. So I don't see a real issue with it. On that conference call, he mentioned going to Wegmans, and I don't want to misquote him, but he said a line that it was, we want to basically close a deal. we want to go over there to close deals. And you might have to replay the conference call back, but he
Yeah.
says something like that, and it caught my interest. I'm listening. I was like, oh, okay. So he's not just going over there, hey, look at our Hypertruck ERX, and just talk about it. He wants to go over there to sign a deal, get something done. So I think, I think we're going to be surprised pretty soon. I think Wegmans is
Catalyst.
going to come up. I think Wegmans is definitely going to place an order.
And
And
Wegmans this is not small potatoes, man.
no,
This is this is what I talk about with the catalyst. So just a couple things on the Cummins natural gas engine.
yep.
What that meant to me was that Thiele's paying attention. He's
Hmm.
paying attention
Yep.
because what the hybrid product is on the CNG side was aimed at supplementing 120 horsepower of deficiency, and so certain trucks could not run certain routes.
Yep.
Okay. And so he's gonna monitor that competitive landscape. There are some drawbacks to the hybrid product in that they are terrain dependent. Okay,
Yep.
and that's fine. Where it fits, it fits. It's a good product. It's a $40,000 bolt on. It is what it is. The issue is, and this is the part that I picked up on, is when Thomas talked about all the sit downs they're doing in all the with the freightliners, and they always want to ask about the ERX. They're like, that gets us to where we need to be. This is where our interest lies. This is where our long-standing relationship can be solidified, is with the Hypertruck ERX. So he said, look, you got to kind of go where it's going to go. But I don't. I think the hybrid is going to find its place. I do,
Yep.
because it's a twofold product. People
I
don't
think it's a good
understand.
filler for now.
Yep.
My original thought on the hybrid system was it's something that they would be able to garner more of their profit on, because it's something that they didn't have to rely on they don't have to rely on a chassis. They just build their hybrid system and they ship them out to customers or have
Yep.
them built in mod shops. But if Thomas Healy is going the route of, maybe it's a possibility that he was throwing that idea out there to basically let people know, I'm going to probably scrap this idea. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but maybe that's probably an idea that down the line, so they could put all their resources on the Hypertruck ERX. Hyliion is not just doing the hybrid solution. They have the hybrid solution. They have the Hypertruck ERX, the battery management system. They've already
Yep.
told us they're looking for other applications to put their battery technology into. They
Yep.
also do software. They do over-the-air updates. Like Hyliion is fine. It's going to be totally fine doing what it does. If it has to shelf the hybrid EX, it is what it is. But I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think Cummins isn't coming out with their engine until 2024. I think Hyliion's going to go out there and they're going to push the hybrid EX system as
So
they can until then.
So that was another thing that I had a trucker come back to me, and they were like, "Yeah, natural gas is not the way. That they don't have the power." And then
Yep.
Thomas alluded to this as well. This is an early spec, and
Mhm.
I don't mean to impugn Cummins. I love Cummins. Cummins is an awesome company, man. I've used to run on Cummins up in Alaska, commercial fishing. They're good engines, okay, and I don't have any reason to question their specs, but it's unproven. And Thomas said that outright. He said, "Look, we're giving proper credence to this. They're going after the same niche that we were, with supplementing the power deficiency on the natural gas side." Now,
Why do you
remember, there's
what do
come
you
again.
why do you think it is that these big players are now starting to look at natural gas as a solution?
Yeah,
Why?
well said, because they're being pushed to do so. And I've
Yep.
said this a lot on my Hyliion reviews. I'm like, look, these guys have had their cake and eat it too. If they
Yep.
don't need to change, they're not going to change,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. Right.
And,
And now
and
competition is coming up, and
yep,
now it's not only by force, it's also by the
it's
competitors are coming up.
it's a big ass industry. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Big companies are not just going to stand idly by and not get their piece of the pie. With that said, a lot of these big companies have been in their niche for a long, long time.
Hmm.
And instead of just partnering with a company like Hyliion, which is more advantageous, sometimes there might be kind of a shark mentality to go after a specific niche of business. That doesn't leave Hyliion out in the cold. Okay. It doesn't mean that Hyliion is the only company that's suffering from supply chain shortages right now. They're not the only ones, you know? And I find that interesting how the bullseye kind of falls right on them. The stock
Oh,
falls
yeah.
the way that it did. But we'll just have to wait and see.
It's a company that, hasn't really gotten a lot of attention. You remember XL Fleets, right?
Yeah.
XL Fleets, they're down in the gutter too. And I mean, all they do is the hybrid solutions, but for like, commercial pickup trucks.
Yeah.
So I know this is gonna sound crazy, but when I was early investing in Hyliion, I saw XL Fleets and I was like, what would be cool? The XL hybrid solution or something like that. Like if Hyliion and XL Fleets ended up getting together and working on something, because they both have
Yeah.
relatively small market cap right now, that they
Yeah.
could end up merging together as one company and just take over the hybrid axle market if they wanted to do so. They could easily do that. But getting back to Hyliion and Cummins, I think it's these OEMs had all the time to shine, and not ranking on Cummins. Cummins, like you said, they make great engines. I know a lot of people that drive Cummins engines, so they are some seriously powerful engines. But it's necessity by force, and it's also they're seeing the path is changing. I think it was GM. GM had like one of the first electric vehicles, right?
Yep.
And they just sat on it. They shelved the technology until Tesla came around. Now Tesla's eating everybody's lunch. Now everybody wants to jump on EVs. Look at Ford; they're coming out with the Ford Lightning. You got the Chevy Bolt or whatever, and it's going to take them some time to catch up. But competition shouldn't scare anybody away. What I said
No.
yesterday was you have new companies like Rivian. You have all these new EV players that are coming out, like Neo and what's the other one? Fisker. All these companies are coming up.
Yep.
They're not afraid of the OEMs. They're not afraid of Tesla eating their lunch. They're going to go ahead and make a product that they believe can fit their customer base and go ahead and work on that. So Hyliion, when they put out their presentation, it was based on 1% of the market, just 1%. And everybody got excited about that. And they're like, okay, well, if they only capture 1%, so what has changed? Were we not expecting that there was going to be competition? If anybody was thinking there wasn't going to be competition coming around the corner, then that's very foolish. You have to know that wherever money's being made, and I'll tell you this, wherever money's being made, that's where people move to and they gravitate towards. When I was on Amazon, I used to sell on Amazon. I had a great music business. This was like maybe 5 years ago. I sold CDs and cassettes. And this was something that a lot of people told me, was antiquated. And why are you selling CDs? That's not going to be a good business. I went down to the Goodwill, and the Goodwill had it's basically like an outlet. It's the Goodwill outlet where everything gets centralized and they go through and they send them out to all the Goodwill stores. And even Goodwill, I went down to that location and they had a pallet full of CDs and cassettes, maybe over 1,000, right? And I asked the guy, I'm like, well, what are you guys going to do with those? Oh, they're going to get recycled and destroyed. I told him, I was like, really? He's like, oh, yeah, we don't sell them. We try to put them up on Amazon, but we get a penny. I was like, oh, okay. So what would you take for them? Guy tells me $20. All right. Gave him $20. I took that whole pallet of CDs and cassettes. I brought them back to my house. I scanned every single one of them. They came up on Amazon as a penny. You know what I did? I charged $5 for each one, plus the shipping cost. All right. And some of them, believe it or not, some of them came up really rare and they turned out to be like $100, $200 CDs. All right. Crazy stuff. It was like classical music. I don't even remember the name. Some weird symphony something. But I ended up turning that $20 into over $20,000. All right. In less than a year. So, just moral of the story is Amazon ended up catching up on my sales. They saw what was going on. They bought the licensing rights to reproduce any CD that they wanted, and they kicked me off their platform. That's what they did. So it just goes to show you that they will go around and they will eat your lunch if you let them. You got to adapt. If I would have adapted and changed, I could have kept selling on Amazon. But unfortunately, that's what they did.
I think there's a few things with Hyliion for sure that are going to help spark these catalysts that I speak of. I think the Innovation Council is going to be key to that. I really do. If they can solidify some 20, 30, 40 truck orders from all members of the Innovation Council, that'll put it up around 500 to start. That is an enormous start because Thomas Healy talked about it on the Q2 earnings report where he talked about the evolution cycle, the new truck cycle, and I think a lot of what is being bearish about all the truck companies, he said that trucks are not being ordered right now. They're being ordered, but they can't get delivery, right? So
123.
yeah, companies have their trucks on a rotation. When everything's good, it's not worthwhile for them to keep old trucks because they start to deteriorate. They start to become more cost prohibitive or, they start to cost more money, okay? So the idea is to get into those rotations. That's the key. And to, maybe you solidify the first year order of, let's say, 5 with Hyliion. Now, this is going to be the expansion. This is going to be when they get in with multiple companies and they've got those initial orders of 5, 8, 2, 6, 7,
Mhm.
11. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Those are going to be those initial year 1 introduction. Now, what's going to happen on year 2 is that they're going to bump those up from 7 to 10 because they like the product. They're going to bump them up from 10 to 15. That's when the incremental growth of Hyliion really starts to take hold. Once that starts to happen, then the model will already have been built. Then it's time to go abroad and we can go to Europe. And
Not to
and it's
mention,
good. Mhm.
not to mention, once you start getting those, couple trucks in the hands of the operators, now they're collecting those mileage. They're collecting the mileage data. They're
Absolutely.
improving the system by selling.
Absolutely.
It's like Tesla. What Elon must say: the more Teslas we sell, the more Teslas we sell. All right. It's going to be the same model with Hyliion. The more Hyliion trucks we sell, the more Hyliion ERXs we're going to sell because now they're able to gather more data, and data's king. They can go ahead and they can improve their system. They get the routes, they get all the information that they need to make the system even better. So the Hyliion Innovation Council, I think, that was a catalyst we weren't expecting. Remember, like I wasn't
Exactly.
expecting them to come out
Hey,
with that. So Thomas
exactly.
Healy always comes out and surprises us with something, and that's going to turn out to be one of the biggest things that he could have done. Because to stay relevant and to stay in the game, when it comes to competition, innovation is king. And if you can't innovate, you're going to
Yeah.
go extinct. A lot of these OEMs that are around today, they didn't want to innovate when it was nice and early in the time to do so, and now they're just
Yeah.
trying to catch up. So I think it's gonna turn out to be one of the best things he could have done with that innovation council.
Man, that's awesome. Hey, Henry, I want to thank you for coming on the channel, man. I'm going to close it down. We went a few minutes extra. I could talk highly on with you all night. And we've kept the group in here engaged. I think there's enough. There's a lot of people that kick over from the Highly on Discord group. So shout out to you guys. I didn't get to Schnellman's comment here. They made me a soldier, I guess, in the Discord group. So I've been anointed for all my work. Yeah, that anointment probably cost me 50 grand at this point, but that's all right. We'll make it up.
We
You
got
never
something
never
to put our money on highly on, man. That's
exactly. No, I'm long and strong, baby. I ain't going anywhere.
me
But
too.
Henry, RP Music TV, man. If you haven't checked him out, kick over, help him support, man. He'll always be part of the community here on the Independent Investor. This was his first time coming on for the Friday live stream, and I really appreciate you coming on. I really do, man. It was
Thank
it
you.
was it was awesome. Special
I
treat for
appreciate
me.
you having me, man. That was awesome.
My brother. Thanks, Henry. Appreciate you.
Take care, man.
Have a great weekend, brother. Yep. Bye.
You too. Bye.
Cool, man. So a big shout out there to RP Music. It was kind of cool, man. He was one of the originals putting through content on YouTube. So kind of take my hat off to that type of initiative. And his thesis hasn't changed, nor has mine. Really kind of a weird time. I think we'll look back on this and be like, damn, that was kind of a dark time for the stock. I know there's people out there who say, you're crazy, Ryan. I don't know, man. I'm a happy guy. A particular stock holding, I'm paying attention to it right now. It's got my attention, but all I really need is this thing to get up to a respectable level, 15, 20, then I'll stop looking at it. I'll go ultra long on it. I'm being an active investor the best way that I know how right now. And I think right now, as painful as it might be, or as painful as it might seem, it just seems right to be a little bit more actively paying attention to the holding right now. Just what makes sense. So do want to thank everybody for making their way into the Independent Investor live stream, man. We will go ahead and shut it down. We'll be back next week. Invite every single one of you guys. You're all part of this deal in whatever capacity. If you're starting, if you've been investing for 10, 20, 30 years and beyond, You're all part of this, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for making this possible. Without you guys, this product would cease to exist, and I would go on about my merry day and just be the same Henri Ryan that I am with you guys every single Friday. So I want to thank you for making this project a reality. You're all part of the gig. You're all part of what I contend to be one of the many empowered investors in the independent investor community. So, guys, take it easy. Have a great weekend. We'll catch you next week.